This is the Marketing Boss Podcast, where today's top marketing professionals reveal their best tips, tools, and strategies, and we all become better leaders because of it. And here's your host, video marketing expert, Parshell Houghton.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Marketing Boss Podcast. I'm Parshell Houghton. Thank you so much for being here today. We are so excited about our guest on the show today. His name is Steve Henning. He's from the great state of Minnesota. And you guys are going to be really excited about some of the things he's going to talk about with us today, including, as he's another video marketing professional himself, this is going to be really great, talking about some of the mistakes that people usually are making when they approach working with video. So this is something that, you guys definitely want to pay attention to, as I know a few of us that I've spoken with and tons of people as well that they're just really excited about doing video. But, these common mistakes, I think it will be a great piece of content for you guys to approach video in the most successful way. So I'm really excited. Steve, I want to welcome him to the show today. Steve, thanks for being here.
Well, good morning, and thanks so much for having me. Absolutely.
Just to give you guys a little bit of background about Steve, he is the owner, producer, and director at Advanced Marketing Services. He's helped a number of organizations, from small businesses to nonprofits, tell their stories through digital media with artistic vision, creative imagination. He understands technology and has a passion for quality. He's a great storyteller as well, which I think you guys will enjoy. And we're really excited to have him here with us. So before we get into some video talk here, I definitely want to thank those who've connected with us so far on social media. And if you would like to connect as well, definitely find me, Parshell Houghton. I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And also join in on our private LinkedIn group called the Marketing Boss Club. That's where marketing professionals like you and me, we can collaborate and grow together. Again, that's the Marketing Boss Club. So come on in and join the group. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump into the interview with Steve. Steve, thank you again for being here. Let's just start off really just explaining and tell us a little bit about how you got started in the world of video.
Well, it goes back, I'm not going to tell you how many years, but I have, let's just say I've had over 35 years of marketing experience. And earlier in my career, I owned a Twin Cities-based ad agency. And we had created several video programs, both broadcast ad campaigns and actual corporate videos for some of our marketing clients. We had done a lot of work in the area of economic development and used video in promoting not only specific projects, but also some of our clients were economic development authorities or semi-regional NGOs that were trying to attract business into their region. And video is a very, very powerful tool in enabling that to happen. Mm-hmm. And most recently, I produced a made-for-cable television show for 5 years. It was kind of what would you call it? A lifestyle, human interest magazine. Okay. About a half-hour show talking about West Central Minnesota. I think even though we haven't actively been producing it now for a couple of years, there are probably still some cable network stations out there that are still airing that show. It was called Lakes Country Living.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And, so that was a real good experience for a little business, and really got our feet on the ground as far as kind of a different approach to doing video, and we've carried that into our commercial work currently, as far as how we go about telling the company's story to the world.
Absolutely. And I'm pretty sure that you've talked with and dealt with a number of companies and organizations, and that's why I'm really excited to, also hear and learn from you, because I know that you certainly are bringing a lot of experience to the table here, and you've seen a lot of things go wrong, and you've seen a lot of mistakes that people have made, and that's why I know that for sure this is going to be really, really great information and content for the people who are listening. So, with that said, what do you find in all of your experience and different productions that you've done and different projects and campaigns? Like, what is the biggest mistake that you find that people are making?
Well, I see this at both, not necessarily just the small businesses, but just a very common mistake. People look at their industry that they're working in, and they see competitors or other organizations using video on their websites or social media, and they come to us and they say, well, I need a video for my business. And that is true. I mean, in today's world, in my humble opinion, video is the communication tool for marketing. And people do need video. But so often they'll come to us, I need a video. Got to have a video for my website. And they don't really have an articulated plan for how they're going to use video. They think that they just need a video. And so they're not necessarily thinking through how they might apply it to different platforms for different purposes within the context of marketing and promoting their business. They might not be thinking how it's not, they might do a 2-minute video for their website's homepage and throw it out there on Facebook. And, well, anybody that's done much social media realizes you have a much shorter attention span for that kind of a social media application. It's much better to keep those shorter and maybe more focused. And so that's a really big issue is, thinking through and planning out how they're going to use video. And one of the areas within that, developing that plan is, overcoming the second mistake that I see, and that is a lot of people, when they think about video, they have this attitude that one size fits all. Mm-hmm. And they try to tell their whole story in that one shot. And they don't realize that within the story, the overall story about their business, it's composed of multiple stories. And they can be broken down and presented possibly in shorter individual videos rather than try to wrap them all into the context of one big presentation.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's a huge opportunity, actually, when you have an organization with multiple stories or multiple facets. Don't try to pack it all into that one video. Try to divide them out and spread them across your, and let's talk websites, because that's a big part of what we do is website design. And I've been telling people that really our work is developing what I call video-centric websites. We try to get video on just about every page, or at least many pages of a given website, so that it's not just all on the home page. Mm-hmm. And I try to keep that homepage video real short and kind of more like a teaser. just a teaser, and maybe just and sometimes not even have talking. People want to tell their whole story, and they want to do it right there on the home page. And well, if you have a larger organization or you serve multiple markets with your product line or your service, they each deserve a more refined, targeted message. And rather than trying to shotgun it all into one piece. So that's a big part of what we do is listen very carefully and learn a lot about our client, and then develop that video content that conveys those messages, but in ways that are much more targeted and specific. And like on a website, then for a client like that, we would have maybe a 30 to 45 second overview. It just touches on the things, but not necessarily does a lot of the storytelling. Sometimes the storytelling unfolds as you explore the website. You go to the staff page, and maybe you hear the manager of a department talking about, philosophy that drives their department. And then you go to a sub-page where it's talking about a particular product line and get a little bit more of the story of the product line. Sometimes, and it's not just the people that are engaged in the everyday business itself. Actually, and I know you know this, Parshell, and that is that probably one of the single most powerful uses for video, most commonly used actually, and that is the testimonial. And
Absolutely.
I think sometimes the very best way to tell a business's story is through the words of a customer that's actually using that business. And the believability and the credibility goes way up. And, I have one client, it's kind of fun. We redesigned his website earlier this year. And he had a website that was up in an established business that had been around the website had been up for 6 years. And we did a whole new website for him, put video on every page. It was the business was a luxury townhome or luxury condominium, rental condominium. And on one page, we would have a story, for example, where we interviewed the architect that designed these condominiums, and he talked about all the unique design features from the creative. He talked about the creative process of the architecture and why it was visually and functionally different and unique. Then we would have another page where we talked about, we interviewed a few of the residents and talked about the lifestyle of living there. And we had another page where we actually talked to the developer and talked about the construction of the condominiums and how they were more soundproof and private, and it went into more descriptive detail about the floor plans and how they were unique. And then we had more customer testimonials on another page just talking about how flexible this company was as a landlord in working with them and permitting them to have pets, and et cetera. And this fellow came back to me. The website had been up, and he called me about 30 days after it had gone live, and he was so excited to report to me that he had had more inquiries in the first 30 days than he had received in 6 years.
Oh, wow.
And that was back in March of this year. And just 2 weeks ago, the same person, we're both members of a business networking group, and he stood up in front of the group and announced that he was just absolutely amazed because for years he had been gathering leads and referrals through various rental referral websites that some of these developers might subscribe to. And he was so excited because the direct leads coming straight off of his website had now exceeded the number of referrals that were coming to the website from other websites. And I attribute a large part of that to the success of the videos working on his pages. One of the things that we did that was also a little bit unique on that particular project, we've been trying to incorporate this as standard procedure. Sometimes it requires more time than we are able to invest, but we try to do video SEO so that people are also finding his website via YouTube when they are doing a search, and I think that's a big part of that.
Absolutely,
his success.
I mean, this is it's really interesting. I mean, so I know you were saying a number of things in that time period you were talking, which the fact that we can use a video in different ways, and of course I have these conversations as well with a number of the people that we work with, because right now we're in a day and age where the video just can't live on one place. It has to be utilized, and it has to really have a strong plan in place. And so I really like the fact that you had said there that it can be used in different ways, and especially if it's going on your website, don't try to jam pack it with any and everything, but keep it as a teaser. And if possible, you can break it up. You can also incorporate testimonials and all these different places, which worked really well, I think, in terms of how when you combine the strategy with the creative, how it really can result in the example that you mentioned where somebody was able to, generate more leads and inquiries than they had in several years past, which is, I mean, that's what it's all about. It's about, how all this comes together. And
it's huge.
With so many platforms that are out there, Steve, I wanted to ask you this as well as we start to wrap up here. When it comes to all the different platforms that video can be placed and utilized, why do you find that it's important? Because we talked a bit about this a little bit before. We have to modify the content for the platform and not go with a one-size-fits-all approach. Why do you find that this is important?
Well, the whole idea of using video as a marketing tool, in marketing, you have a target audience, okay? So you look at how does a platform fit my audience? And maybe you have a multifaceted audience, and you have to acknowledge that not all audiences are on a given social media. Not everybody is using Facebook, for instance. There might be a more appropriate use for a targeted business video on LinkedIn. Versus I see Facebook as kind of more of a broad shotgun audience, but if you are a business-to-business marketer, for instance, that might be the platform you go for, and you might, rather than do a video, you might be better served doing part 1, part 2, part 3 series, and try to capture audience that comes back and qualify them. I mean, you talk about the old marketing funnel. I mean, you and I both know that it's very important to use video that speaks to people at every level of that marketing funnel, from all the way from being a prospect all the way down to taking that final step, and afterwards, after they become a customer. Keep them engaged with your business through your messaging and your communication. And like I've said now, keep saying it till I'm blue in the face. I think video is the communication tool to use. It's so important for businesses and nonprofit organizations today, whether it's social media or websites. You use it in your marketing. You use video to connect with customers, with donors, with sponsors, with members of an organization. Everyone, it's just the tool to use as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely. Well, Steve, I definitely want to thank you for your time and being on the show today as a guest. This has been really great, and I love always talking and hearing about how video is working for, other companies, other organizations. So this has been great to hear some of the stories from your clients and how you've been approaching video. And as we wrap up
none
here,
of this is new to you, Parshall. And before I'm not going to let you escape without giving you an accolade, because I have watched several of your videos and your blog posts, and I think you are right on. You have been doing a great job, and obviously everyone listening knows that, but I'm going to reiterate it anyway.
Well, I certainly appreciate that. It means a lot. I really do. Is there any other last words that you want to quickly share with the listeners as we wrap up? And then also, if anybody has additional questions or wants to connect with you, where they can find you online?
Sure. Well, I guess the main thing is to realize this is a stereotypical statement, I know, but it is so true. Every day I see this over and over again, and that is the adage that everyone has a story, and video is just such a powerful tool for storytelling. And everyone, meaning transferring also into the business world, every business has a story. Every company has a story. Every product or service that you're trying to market, it has a story. And that story needs to get shared, and video is a great way to do it.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
as far
you guys definitely take notes there. Storytelling is it's really what it's about, and it really connects all of us. So that's great. Where can people reach you and connect with you if they'd like?
Well, I have a website. My business is Advanced Digital, and the website is advideos.net. And I'd love to hear from people after they visit the site and after they've listened to this show. I hope they'll follow up and give me a ring if they're in the Midwest. We're in a different part of the country than you are, and I'm looking out my window at a very white landscape right now. I mean, we've just gone through a couple blizzards here, and it's been kind of an interesting week in Minnesota.
Wow. Well, definitely stay warm out there.
I've got the wood stove fired up here.
Oh my goodness. Well, Steve, thank you so much for being a part of the show today. This has been great.
Thanks, Parshell. I sure appreciate the opportunity and wish you the very best.
Thanks to you, man. Well, hey, you guys, that does it for this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of this as well. Until next time, remember, a good boss is a good leader. Let's go out there and serve your gift to the world because you're the boss. Take care, guys. Till next time. Bye.
Thanks so much for listening to the Marketing Boss Podcast with your host, video marketing expert, Parshell Houghton. We'll catch you next time.